Hey guys, this is Aaron coming at you with a video about pay plans for technicians, your GSs, and your foremans that are in charge of running your shop. So, if we go into this on these pay plans, this is a highly contested deal. Everybody wants to, they all got their opinions on how this should be done, and I really feel that we need to track results. We don't need to track emotion. We need to understand what actually causes what to happen. So your average technician, I'll get on the phone with a client and they'll start to tell me how their P&L's this way because of all these reasons, and I'll start glancing. I'm just not even paying attention to that part. I'm reading the numbers, and then I'll hear them say something about getting their technicians out from under themselves or getting them in gear or getting them to work or doing whatever, something about them being slow. And I'll notice technician cost, and they won't have the percentage, and I'll real quick divide that into their total sales, and I'll realize that their technician cost is above 15%. Well, I teach that I want you to shoot, for your technician cost to be at 15% cost of sale. So it's very hard to keep it in that number because good ATECs are expensive. So as I'm looking at it, I start going into it, I start discovering real quick that things aren't what they seem. And it's really 18, 19, sometimes 20, even 21%. Well, once I dive into it and I realize that the percentage is that high, then I discover something really interesting. I discover that they're not paying their technicians on any type of commission, let alone flat rate. They're paying them just straight hourly. Or they're just paying them a guarantee, just straight salary basically, which isn't even legal. Some people feel they can pay flat rate with a guarantee and get around the whole overtime thing. I feel like that's dangerous. Again, check with your state, but I feel like that's dangerous. I would talk with a lawyer. But for a technician, the best way to pay them straight up every single time is flat rate. And you may go, why is that, Aaron? My shop I work at, I pay them what they're worth. Well, why are they not worth what you're paying them flat rate? Well, Aaron, when I was at a dealership, I got screwed. Well, it doesn't mean you're going to screw somebody. Well, Aaron, the last shop they were at screwed them. Okay, give them a guarantee temporarily till they know they can trust you. Well, Aaron, I don't think it's actually going to make them work any faster. I think they're giving me all they got now. Well, now you're believing a lie. See, everybody here wants to manipulate their pay plan. So if they can't manipulate their pay plan because their pay plan doesn't change, they manipulate their effort. I need you to think about that. So if somebody's not going to manipulate their pay plan, this ends up being a roadblock, and they can't because they're on salary. Then instead, they will manipulate their effort. And you'll be shocked because every shop owner I tell to do this is shocked. Aaron, I put them on flat rate and their hours went up by 30%. Their hours went up by twice. Their hours went up by 20%, 100%, whatever. Every single time. Technicians win on flat rate, period. If you paid them fairly. Aaron, they're super slow. Well, then they have to be penalized for being super slow because they are costing you more in overhead. If your overhead cost hour is $80 an hour, and a technician takes an hour and a half to do something instead of an hour, what happens is, instead of you paying $80 for every hour they're working on a car, you're paying $120 for every hour they work on a car. Have you stopped to think about that? There has to be a discount on their end. So I'm sorry, even if they are very good, you can't pay them as much. Now you may go, well, Aaron, I have to have this person, the only one that can diagnose. Then that sounds like they're more like a foreman. But as far as just being a standard technician, this is what I would do. I noticed that ATECs, they range in the, it depends on what part of the country, but I'm seeing them as low as 23, which is crazy, all the way up as high as $38 an hour. And then BTECs, and if you go, Aaron, he's really an A minus, he's a B. There are no A minuses. He's a B. So BTECs, I am seeing honestly anywhere from 20 all the way up to $28 an hour. Again, you're part of the country, do you have state income tax, all that stuff factors in. CTECs, I see a lot more CTECs hourly, which is very dangerous. And I've seen CTECs anywhere from $18 to $24 an hour, which is crazy high. That's the range I'm seeing them in. Now let's say you have a CTEC that you are paying, I don't know, $15 an hour, and the guy turns 20 hours a week. So if he turns 20 hours a week for you, you then turn around and you bill out $20. So let's say your labor rate's $100 an hour. So you're billing out 100, what would that be? $2,000 in labor on that guy, right? So you turn around and you bill out $2,000. But you went and you paid him $15 an hour, $15 an hour times 40. So what would that be? 400, that's $600 is what you paid him for the week. So if you paid the guy $600 for the week, because you paid him $15 an hour, he only billed 20, you need to take your 20 and divide it into that. Well, if you take your math and you do it, it's super simple, it's 30. Sorry, I don't do that Common Core crap, I only do real math. So you end up doing $600, so that's zero, right? So what you end up discovering is you're paying this guy flat rate $30 an hour. But guys will tell me, Aaron, I can't afford to pay somebody up here in this range. You're already paying a C-Tech that much. Oh, and he's breaking parts while he's at it. I'm going to tell you right now, the average shop out there can only handle one C-Tech. Unless you're a monster shop doing 8, 9 technicians, then you can handle 2 C-Techs. But the average shop can only take one because they pull on everybody asking for favors, asking for help, and that slows the rest of your guys down. You've got to think through that piece. We grow technicians. We keep them. But the way we do it is one per shop so we can pour everything into them, and we're very picky about who that young man or young woman is. So I want you to understand about that and why we do it that way. Now, on flat rate, guys will win because instead of manipulating their effort, they end up instead of manipulating their effort, they end up manipulating their pay plan, which they do through effort, and it ends up affecting their checking account, right? That paycheck's bigger. Well, when they start doing that, they make more money, but more production happens. More production means you get more money. A lot of guys will go, Aaron, I can't put them on flat rate because they'll know the techs will work harder. I can't afford it. Like, what are you talking about? You can't afford it. Well, Aaron, they're going to turn a ton of hours and won't be able to write a check. You'll collect more money. What do you mean you won't be able to write a check? Come on. So, guys, you need to think this through. Flat rate allows you to be able to take every unit, every hour, and dictate exactly what the cost is. And multiply that up in high and low settings and always be able to determine your cost. If you don't have a way to do that, it's going to get all crazy on you. You're going to end up in these situations. And this can be exaggerated. I mean, you can have ATECs only turning 20 hours a week, and you're paying already $30 an hour. So if you have a guy you're paying $30 an hour, now the guy's making $1,200 a week, and you're taking $1,200 and dividing it by 20, that guy comes out to $60 an hour. It's twice as bad. Think about this stuff. You can't make any money paying somebody $60 an hour. So production is a huge issue. Now, let's take it to the next level. Foreman. I'm running out of room here.
Well, wait a minute, Aaron. Before you go to Foreman.
Uh-oh.
If I pay my technicians on flat rate, they're all going to leave me.
That's true. They're all going to leave you. We better not do it. They're not going to leave. And I'll attack that argument. Thank you, Mr. Cameraman. Thank you. You're so smart. So the way this works is fear has creeped into your mind, and it has affected all the common sensibility that's in there. And you are looking at a situation saying, this is going to happen, I know it, when it's not. So let's talk about the conversion real quick. I'm just going to sacrifice this. The next piece of paper we'll do for Foreman and GSs. So let's switch to blue. Okay, let's say all these guys are hourly. You got 3 techs, an A and a B and a C. And let's say you're paying them all somewhere in the middle, but we're going to commit to flat rate at this number. So let's say you're paying this guy currently, I don't know, 22. This guy's making 26, and this guy's making 36. $2 less. You could go to your advisor or your technicians, think long term and say, Mr. A Tech, I'm going to pay you $38 an hour, but I'm putting you on flat rate. Mr. B Tech, I'm going to take you from 26 to 28. Mr. C Tech, I'm going to take you from 22 to 24. And they go, oh, wow. And you say, but here's the catch. I'm going to put you all on flat rate, but as a show of good faith, I'm going to go ahead and put a guarantee out there for 30 days. Oh, okay. And you go, and in the next 30 days, I'm going to go down. So let's say for 30 days, I'm going to pay you 40 hours a week. The next 30-day period, basically the next month, I'm going to pay you 35 hours a week, guaranteed. The next 30 days, and you'll just go January, February, March, April, May. You'll write it out like that. You're going to pay him 30. The next 30 days, you're going to pay him 25. And you could go, I mean, guys, you can make it so stupid, redundant, and go all the way down, but I would think after this one, it just goes to 0. No guarantee. So it's a 6-month runway. Now you may go, well, Aaron, the first month, if they outrun their time, I'm now paying them 30, or if they don't even outrun their time, I'm now paying them $38 and paying $2 more. You're right. But what you're going to make up in the coming months is crazy. Now here's how you can win the first month. What if you were to go get a dry erase board, and you got little Johnny, little Timmy's names on it. You know, we got Timmy, we got Johnny, we got Billy. I don't know why they always end with a Y with me, but they do. And you got each week, and you're like, this guy turned 25, this guy turned 26, this guy turned 22, because they're all slow, they're all hourly. The next week, it's 33, 30, 35, 32. The next week, somebody hits 40, the other one hits 37, the other one hits 33, and you just see it just keeps going up, and you go, well, why would it go up? If you go and put a dry erase board up, and you start tracking it every single day, they're going to go, oh, crap, he's serious. Even though this guarantee's in place, they're going to go, he's serious, he's tracking us now. And they start turning in flag sheets now, even though the guarantee's in place. And here's the thing on that guarantee, do not do this guarantee weekly, because they'll sandbag you. They'll turn in 20 hours the first week. The next week, you go to pay them, and that extra 20 hours they had done, they just didn't get finished, will roll the next week, and you end up paying double. So think about this. You're going to settle it up at the end of the month. At the end of the month, you make sure that they get all 170-something hours, whatever the total month is. And you tell them that. That way you don't have any of that sandbagging going on. Does that make sense, Mr. Cameraman?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Somewhat. No,
So he's messing with me. So what ends up happening is these guys see you tracking this, and they start to freak out. And as they see the first month, and you go through week 1, week 2, week 3, their hours start climbing because they see you're serious. You're writing it down. And what gets measured gets done, right? It also improves. So they get to the next one, they see you cross out 40, and they see you write 35. So, let's say on week 1, right here, you have 40 written. Here you have 35. And below this one, you've got 30. And they see you crossing it out each month, or each week, I'm sorry. No, it would be each month. They see you crossing it out each month, and they're like, oh, crap, the boss is serious. I mean, this is real crap. And so we keep the danger zone far away enough they don't freak out, but enough they're still motivated and they think you're serious. Now, here's the catch. If the first month you do a good job of just tracking this and going out and updating this every day, you can't let it go 3-4 days because then they don't pay attention to it. We're building a new habit, a new culture of staring at this, and we want inner competition, and we want inner, that inner conflict where they see this as serious. I got to get aggressive. I got to go after a ticket. You don't want them cutting each other off or cutting each other's throats. You want teamwork, but you want them to understand this is serious. And you may go, Aaron, this is just going to ruin my morale, and I'm going to hit that nail just for a second. Remind me to come back to that. I want you to see, though, that as they start to pursue this and they see this angle starting to change and they see those hours crossing off, they will start performing in the very, very first month right here. Because they're going to see by the second, third, and fourth week, they see you actually being serious, they're going to start performing and they're going to turn more hours that first month than they've ever turned, even though they're on a guarantee. And they might even outrun their guarantee. And if they outrun their guarantee, you'll actually make more money. And if they don't outrun their guarantee, but they just turn more hours than they have been, you'll still make more money than what you've been making. So you'll still win even though you're paying them a couple bucks more an hour. See, the techs are so ego-driven. I mean, we all are, aren't we? I am. Everybody is. So what ends up happening is just getting an extra $2 makes them puff their chest out. It makes them want to go, yeah, I'm getting $38 an hour. And they'll do it. They're not going to leave you. They leave bad owners. They don't leave bad pay plans. Just remember that. People quit managers. They quit bad owners. They don't quit jobs. That being said, back to what I was going to say a second ago. What was I going to say, Mr. Cameraman?
You're going to hit the nail on the head of something. I don't remember what it was.
Oh, I know what it was. I got it. So, if you've got a guy that's a good guy and he gets drunk and he becomes a bad guy when he's drunk, honestly, in that person's heart, they're not a good person. They've got some issues going on. They're trying to hold it together when they're sober, but when they get drunk, they're not. And you hear the story about when somebody gets rich and they become a bigger jerk, or they become even a nicer person. Whatever you are on the inside, flat rate just brings more of it out. So if they're a bad dude, flat rate just makes them more of a bad dude. If they're a good dude, flat rate makes them more of a good dude. Or dudette. Sorry, I want to be equal opportunity offender here. So you need to see that flat rate actually takes them in a more extreme direction of what they're already in. So if you just hire good people, it's just going to make them even better. They become more of a team. Why? Because they want their buddy to win and turn more hours, so they'll go help him. I've seen it in my own stores. I was salary in every single store with a bonus. My cost of labor was $55 an hour at every store. And we took it all the way down to $37 an hour with vacations and benefits and everything combined. So I want you to see, with foremen that don't even turn hours half the time, I want you to see that you can reduce your labor costs. And you can even get it below that on the American Asian side. On our American Asian side, we've been able to get our cost of labor all the way down to $32 an hour. So it depends on what state you're in. Some states the labor is just a lot cheaper. Your housing prices are less, so labor costs are less. And in some states, labor costs are crazy high. California, New York, you're paying a ton of money for technicians. You're never going to get those numbers. So just use common sense. Use it for your benefit. You might be in a state where techs are dirt cheap. I've heard right now in the Southwest, not all the way to California, but from Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, that technicians are a lot cheaper. But in areas in Houston, like where it got flooded, technicians are very, very expensive right now because of the flood, and a lot of them moved away. So it drove the price of them up. So you need to understand how all this works and how it coincides. That if you get good guys, flat rate will keep them good. They'll actually become better. If you have bad guys, I'm sorry, it's actually going to make them worse. But
if
flat.
I lose little Timmy, he's my A-Tech. You don't understand my area. My area, there is no good techs. I can't afford to lose him. It's too risky.
You can afford to lose them, and there's always more technicians. We teach in Driving Growth 1, or 2.0, or 1.0, we teach that we believe that there are plenty of technicians. There's lots of good people out there if you go looking for them. And most people, when they tell me, Aaron, I've been looking for techs for years, can't find any. I go, oh, where's your ad at? I'll go search it right now. I'll edit the ad for you. Oh, well, it's expired. Oh, I just posted up last week in Craigslist. I searched for an hour. I finally find it at 29 days old. It's buried 20 pages deep because it's a big city. Give me a break. You got to be at the freaking top of the list. And by the way, Craigslist works for technicians like crazy. That's all I use. And referrals. I'm telling you guys, you just got to get outside the box. You got to keep looking and not give up. But the biggest thing is you got to be on you. Personal development. I don't want to get into all this, but a technician knows the difference between broke and fixed. That's all they know. And when they get in front of you, they're very good at dissecting people. They may not be good all the time at working with people, but they're very good at reading people. And when you see a tech get in front of a normal guy who's an owner, and they go, this guy doesn't have it figured out. This guy's screwed up. They're able to look at that guy and see right through you if you're that guy. And they're going to say to themselves, I'm not working for this dude. They're not even attracted to you to respond to your ad. Your insignificance, your lack of confidence bleeds through your ad onto the page, so they don't even believe you when they get on the phone with you. You got to see this. If you want better technicians, better people around you, work on you. That's the way the universe works. You work on you, more people are going to be attracted to you. So, last thing, Mr. Cameraman, we're going to go after our GS and our Foreman. It's very simple. Your GS is going to range anywhere from $10 to $15 an hour. And I usually only do a bonus if I do one, depends on the person, of typically 50 to 75 cents per hour turned in the shop. Now they're there to help technicians. I like my GSs just shuttling, helping get parts, etc. I don't have them diving into any of the oil changes or repairs. Some guys like to have them do some repairs. I classify them in the overhead section, not in the repair section, not with technicians. In your shop, if you have them doing lots of repairs, you need them in the technician section. If you have them doing just brakes and you have them doing oil changes 24/7, they not clean the shop, they're not shuttling parts, etc., that's where you would put them. But that's the pay plan I typically do for them. On my Foreman, a lot of times I'll do like a $35 to $38 an hour flat rate with a guarantee. And then on that guarantee, the way I have them set up is that they get bonus $2 to $8 per hour that the shop turns. So you may go $8 an hour. Well, if you got this guy paid a lot less here, you could go all the way up to $8. It's a balancing act. You got to figure out what works for you in your situation. But what I like to do, let's just say it was $3 an hour. Shop turns, 500 hours. They'd get a check for $1,500. You need this check combined. Let's say this guarantee was $5,000, and they're making $6,500. you need this check to be large enough to motivate him to help everybody else and monitor everybody else. Make sense? So with a foreman that's in a Euro shop, the guy's only going to turn about 50 hours a month. You want him to turn 50 to 75 hours a month to collect enough labor sales to at least pay for himself, plus the gross profit he's got on parts. The rest of the time he's just doing paid diags that are complicated. If he's in an American Asian shop, and I should say Euro is also diesel. Any diesel shops, that guy's going to be the same way. American Asian shops, you're going to have that guy really being more of a working foreman. Those cars are much easier to work on. So that guy can turn, honestly, 150 to 170 hours, plus still help everybody. So you could pay him in this range. In an American Asian, you could even maybe go a little bit less in certain parts, Texas, Kansas, Oklahoma, Midwest, Illinois, that's not in Chicago, Ohio. You can probably pay less than this and then give him a healthy bonus and get him there. Don't get hung up if you've got a great guy and he wants to leave to make $500 more a month. Don't get hung up on not giving that raise. Remember that when you lose a key technician, especially one that's a leader and a good teacher, you're losing a lot more than just a technician. You need that guy coming in. You need that guy pouring in your other people. So a very simple pay plan. You could even kill this totally because he is a manager. The guys in the back can just call it a $5,000 salary. You can even go up to 6. You can even go down to 4. The point is you want the emphasis on the team commission. Now, I would not do the salary, though, if he's in an American Asian shop where he's cranking hours. Don't do that. Or if he's a Euro or diesel shop and he's surrounded by A techs and not A, B, and C's, he's not having to help much. If he doesn't have to help much, you want him just on the guarantee. That way he can outrun it and still turn his own hours. Make sense? You want him motivated to crush it for you. That way he's not a labor burden on your shop. If you can understand this, wrap it with this, and the other 2 positions that we talked about where you got technicians that may be on hourly wanting to go to flat rate, this can all together come together for you and produce a shop that is very efficient, very aggressive about getting cars at the door, and they're happier because they're making more money. They win and you win. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.